What is going on, Alf Hunters? It is a very terrific Thursday. We're not really seeing too much action on the market, which is kind of surprising because we did have a holiday yesterday. Hopefully, you did enjoy your at least market day off. Hopefully, you did have a day off. And yeah, we're not seeing too much, but we got some data to kind of talk about, go over, and a big stock that is now number one. So yeah, we got a little bit of a gap up here on the SPY. Not a big deal, but a little bit of a gap up about 0.2% roughly. A little bit of a pop, a little bit of a drop. All right, kind of early in the day to see what the market's going to do entirely. So we'll have to see what happens by the end of the day. I wouldn't imagine anything crazy as far as selling, but it could happen. I just doubt it. Q's, a little bit more activity here. Obviously, as we can see by the chart, about a 1/4% gap up. You can see it sold, almost got not negative, well, basically got neutral there in the first 5-6 minutes, and then bounced up to about 1/3%, and then dropped to more than 1/3% down on the day. Currently climbing back, so the Q's is basically just driving all the action today, all the movement, because it's currently climbing back and about 0.1% positive currently. IWM, nice gap down here on the IWM. Got about a 1/4% gap down, ran higher, bouncing, hitting its head here around that 201, 202 level. And kind of have a little double top feel to it. Could also be a flag pattern. We'll see what happens here over the next 20 minutes or so. DIA, nice bullish action there the first hour. Looking pretty good. The RSP, kind of a flat open. Kind of a bullish move there in the first hour. Just kind of choppy about it. Nice little pullback here the previous 30 minutes. So the RSP trying to base in here, kind of looks like Tesla here over the past half month or so. But yeah, kind of just trying to push higher. It has made a lot of these have just really struggled. The Qs keep making headlines of all-time highs. I think that keeps bringing in investors and keeps. I mean, there's a lot of really good opportunities out there in the RSP, the DIA, and IWM. Is just like it's not just 5 stocks, and so the higher those big tech guys go, the more and more stocks in the other area and the other ETFs start to look a little bit more attractive. So, yeah, IWM is really at a spot here that you're going to really see some resistances. Qs, yeah, they just keep pounding it out. Just keep grinding. There you go. SPY. Kind of just also grinding it out today and being held up by the big tech guys. Let's check in with the 3 biggest stocks. AAPL pulling back a little bit. Makes sense. Had a pretty good run from its AI event. And Microsoft has also had a pretty good June here. Past couple days pulling back a little bit. And then NVDA. So NVIDIA is now the largest. I'm going to move this up. The largest stock out there. It overtook Microsoft and AAPL. And you can also see it here on the heat map. So it's up there. It is dominant. So currently market cap of 3.4. Apple's sitting at 3.2. Microsoft is sitting almost at 3.3. So that's kind of where we are here as far as like the big guys. And the interesting thing is this is what happens when you basically get a monopoly. I'm not going to say that they are monopolistic, but they basically have a monopoly right now on AI. And that's what happens. Like you see the value of your company just becomes super dominant, right? I know they've had a stock split here recently, but they've gone from 15, 14, $15 a share to 140 today. That's in a year and a half. So they have they have absolutely dominated their market space. Jensen has the CEO. Jensen was absolutely correct on how he steered the company, and you can see that they're up 2.7% today as well, which it, AMD AMD is up 7.3%, and not really even a big deal. And there you go. NVIDIA surge reveals a pitfall for passive investing. Yeah, because you probably missed out on just about all of this, most likely. AMD, but I mean that it ebbs and flows as far as the whole passive investing. It ebbs and flows like stock pickers market. It's a stock pickers market, right? I mean that's gonna be really good as long as you get into the right stocks. But when it's not a stock pickers market and everything's going bullish, then stock picker market doesn't matter, right? And then that's when passive investing really works in your favor. Everything's just kind of working all at once. AMD, we kind of talked about this here, I think, past couple days. We kind of have this like downtrend here, and it's not exactly just accelerating down anymore. It's kind of been hugging like some downtrend line through here. And it's just a matter of time before it pops through there and it's going to really run. This might be the start of that. I mean, obviously, we're having a pretty good day here on AMD, so I would probably just continue to be bullish on AMD. That's about it. But you know, once you get the pop, there you go. Let's just look at some data real quick that we got this morning. So we got initial jobless claims, which continued to come in higher than expectations. So we had 238K of initial jobless claims. The forecast is calling for 235, and the prior was the big jump, right? Well, you know, last week we got a big jump in initial jobless claims up to 243. So it's down week over week, but it's still higher than forecast. And that's kind of typically the way, you know, some of this data will go, especially like the weekly stuff. So you'll like get a huge jump one week, and it'll have a little bit of a pullback like the next week or two, and then but the trend is probably the more important part of this. Let me get rid of. There we go. It's more of the trend, right? You can see back in summer of last year, we were having some pretty high levels of initial jobless claims. We had a little bit of pullback, but the trend is bullish, and that's kind of that'd probably be more the issue area, right? Is like the trend is now going bullish, and I think that was easily established with this last week's data point. So yeah, we'll see what jobs data keeps coming in at. Obviously, we're not going to get another unemployment report or unemployment data report for another couple of weeks. So just see how that goes when we get to that point, because we were also seeing the unemployment rate start to tick higher. VIX up a little bit on the day. All right. Nothing crazy. Starting to see. It seems like it's starting to want a base here. All right. We'll see what happens later on. Dollar continuing to look pretty good here. Had a couple days of pullbacks after a very strong rebound last Thursday, Friday. Kind of pulled back. Dollar is a currency that did trade yesterday, so a little bit more of a pullback. Kind of a quiet day, obviously, but it is bouncing with the help of the moving averages coming up. Looking pretty good. Gold still holding strong, man. Jeez. If gold just chops sideways in here and just kind of consolidates here, man, this is going to look so good later on. Yeah, GLD looking pretty solid there. 10-year yields bouncing pretty good today. Getting up into that 10 EMA. It's also the lower levels of this breakdown that we had, this little bounce spot that we had beginning part of June. So not exactly a trend changer day to day because it might just consolidate sideways and then break down. It could, but I mean, it could bounce here and then you know bounce higher. Get on its horse later. But right now, I wouldn't be trying to take yields bullish or bonds bearish quite yet. Let's see, 10-2 inversion bouncing a little bit today. Okay, all right, not dropping. HYG bonds are dropping off today. All right. LQD bonds are dropping, sitting right on top of that 10 EMA. Also, this previous high. The only bad thing about this is we kind of retested into this previous high before, basically on Monday. We bounced Tuesday, but we did not take out the previous highs from late last week, and then we've come back down to that level. So LQD, maybe not bullish. Maybe it just kind of sets up sideways chop here, then pushes higher later on. Yeah, same kind of deal here for the TLT. You can see we had that pullback on Monday. We tried to bounce, but we didn't take out the previous high from Friday. And we're basically coming back down to that previous level as well. So I'd be a little bit cautious on bonds. Maybe they pull back a little bit more here, but they kind of basically are kind of saying, hey, this move momentum is kind of done. They're going to have a little bit more of a rest here, which makes sense. I mean, bonds don't typically just rip it one way or the other. And then taking a look at sector rotation for the day, energies are crushing it today. Utilities looking pretty good. Communications, discretionaries also outperforming. In line with the market is materials. Underperformers, industrials, healthcare, financials, staples, real estate, and tech is the biggest underperformer on the day. Okay. All right. Wouldn't have saw that one coming. And then intraday, yeah, tech just seen, when we looked at the Qs, they had a pretty good amount of selling there, even on the initial and kind of the second 30 minutes of the day. They saw some pretty good selling come in there. So tech underperforming there, except for NVDA and AMD. Financials kind of in line with the market there. Staples kind of in line with the market there. Materials, industrials outperforming, as well as real estate, discretionaries, communications, healthcare, utilities. Energies, though, they are seeing some pretty good buying action throughout the day.